Mr. Quiet by Roger Hargreaves. Mr. Quiet liked the quiet life. He lived quietly in a small little cottage in the middle of a wood. The problem was that a small little cottage was in the middle of a wood, in the middle of a country called Loudland. Everything and everybody in Loudland was noisy. Oh, the noise! Dogs didn't go woof like dogs you know. They went woof! People didn't shut their doors like you or I would shut our doors. They'd slam them. Bang! People didn't talk to each other, they shouted at each other. Hello! They shouted as they met in the street. And you've heard of something being as quiet as a mouse, haven't you? Not in Loudland. They are the noisiest mice in the world. Squeak! Squeak! They'd roar at each other. Mr. Noisy would have liked living in Loudland. He'd have loved it. But Mr. Quiet didn't. Noise frightened him. So he stayed in his cottage in the middle of his wood as much as he could. But of course he couldn't stay there all the time. Every week, for instance, he had to go shopping. He used to creep into the butcher's shop. "Good morning!" bellowed the grocer. "What can I do for you?" Poor Mr. Quiet. He replied in a whisper, "Please, could I have some cornflakes, please?" "What?" "Cornflakes, please," he whispered. "Speak up!" Mr. Quiet tried his loudest whisper. "Cornflakes!" "Can't hear you!" shouted the grocer. "Next, please!" And poor Mr. Quiet had to creep away without any cornflakes. Wasn't fair, was it? He crept into the butcher's. "Please," he whispered. "I'd like some meat." Butcher didn't even hear him. He was humming to himself, loudly and fiercely. Mr. Quiet tried again. "Please," he whispered. "I'd like some meat." Butcher started to whistle. Sounded more like a burglar alarm than a whistle. Mr. Quiet fled, empty-handed. It often happened, which probably explains why he was so little. Poor Mr. Quiet. He sat home that night with a feeling of despair. "Whatever am I to do?" he thought. "It's no use," he thought. "I'll just have to try again." And so the following day he went shopping again. But the same thing happened. "Can't hear you!" thundered the grocer. "Next, please!" "Can't hear you!" bellowed the greengrocer. "Next, please!" "Can't hear you!" roared the milkman. "Next, please!" "Can't hear you!" boomed the butcher. "Next, please!" Oh dear. Poor Mr. Quiet. He went home and went to bed, hungry. Morning after, he was awakened by a noise which sounded like bombs dropping. It was a loud person knocking on Mr. Quiet's door. Bang, bang! Bang, bang! Mr. Quiet went and opened the door. "Morning!" shouted the postman. "Letter for you!" Mr. Quiet took the letter into his kitchen. He sat down to open it. He waited until the noise of the postman's footsteps died away. Clump, 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 clump. Mr. Quiet opened the letter in great excitement. He'd never had a letter before. It was from Mr. Happy in Happyland. An invitation to stay. Mr. Quiet was overjoyed. He rushed upstairs, packed his bags, and set off that very morning. It was late when he arrived on Mr. Happy's doorstep. He knocked on Mr. Happy's door. Tap, tap, tap. Mr. Happy opened the door. "Hello," he smiled. "I thought I heard something. You must be Mr. Quiet. Well, don't just stand there. Come on in, have some supper." It was the first proper meal that Mr. Quiet had had for months. And while he was eating, he told Mr. Happy all about the problems he'd been having in Loudland. Mr. Happy was most sympathetic. Over breakfast the following morning, Mr. Happy told Mr. Quiet that he'd been thinking about his problem. "I think," he said, "that under the circumstances, you would better stay here in Happyland." Mr. Quiet's face lit up. "And," continued Mr. Happy, "we'll find you a house. And," he went on, "a job." Mr. Quiet's face dropped. "But I'm not very good at jobs," he confessed, "because I'm too quiet." "Ah," smiled Mr. Happy, "I have the very job for a quiet chap like you." And so the very next day Mr. Quiet started work. And he loves it. Do you know where he works? In the Happy Lending Library. And as you know, everybody who goes into a library has to be very quiet, and only whispering is allowed. What a clever idea of Mr. Happy's, wasn't it? These days, Mr. Quiet is as happy as can be. Why? Only the other day, you know what he did on his way home from work? He was so happy that he laughed out loud. Could you imagine? Next, please.
In quiet moments I reflect on things that I do, special things that mean a lot, like being with you. In quiet moments I recall the things that you do. You make me happy, make me glad, just being with you. I think of special days and special ways, special things we do. Special days with a special friend. That's my thought of you. Walking down to Shady Wood, to the giant oak tree. You and I, my greatest friend, just sit there and dream. We'd play all day in summer sun by that old oak tree. In the tall grass by the stream, my best friend and me. Remember special days and special ways, special things we do. Special days with a special friend. That's my thought of you.